All right, let's get right into it. Have you ever looked around and wondered why some town centers just feel alive, totally buzzing with energy, while others, well, they feel like they're on life support? It turns out it's not about luck. It's not even about charm. It's actually a math problem. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the financial engine that powers these thriving communities: density. You know this feeling, right? It's, say, 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, and the main street in your suburb is basically a ghost town. The shops are there, the cafes are open, but where is everybody? See, we've built these huge communities that just empty out every single morning as everyone gets in their car and drives off to work. It's a design that chains us to our vehicles for every little thing, creating a life that's pretty much dictated by traffic. And this whole daily grind, this constant drain, it actually has a name. This quote just absolutely nails it: negative productivity. And no, it's not just some corporate buzzword. It's the quiet thief of our time, our energy, and our money. It's the real tangible price we all pay for this inefficient design. So what are we really talking about here? It's this slow, steady bleed on our resources. Think about it. Every hour you lose sitting in traffic is an hour you're not spending with your family or working on a new idea. Every dollar you pour into your gas tank is a dollar that's not going to a local coffee shop or bookstore. And it's all because we decided to put our homes over here, our jobs way over there, and our shops somewhere else entirely. Okay, so if the current system is so obviously broken, what's the fix? Well, here's the pivot point. This isn't about what looks nice or what style of building you prefer. At its very core, the survival of our local town centers is a straight-up math problem. And the great thing about a math problem is, it has an answer. And here it is. This is the magic number: 15 DU per AC. That stands for 15 dwelling units per acre. Now, this isn't some random number pulled out of a hat. This is the critical tipping point. It's the minimum density that a local town center needs to actually be financially self-sufficient. And check this out. This slide breaks it down perfectly. See that dial on the right? At about 8 dwelling units per acre, you start to get the basics of a walkable neighborhood. But honestly, that's not enough to keep the lights on for most local shops. For that, you got to hit the number on the right, 15. That's the sweet spot for commercial viability. It's the point where a decent grocery store, a few cafes, and even frequent bus service can actually make a profit and survive. And this image right here shows you exactly why that number matters so much. Look at that top row. Your typical low-density suburb, it's a retail wasteland. Why? Because there's just not enough people walking around to support businesses. But look what happens in the bottom row as you add more density. You create this critical mass of people, not just residents, but local workers too. That's your captive audience that a grocery store needs to thrive. So here's the key takeaway. It's not just about supporting businesses after 5 p.m. when everyone comes home. It's about transforming our suburbs from these sleepy dormitories into lively, 24/7 communities. And you do that by activating the daytime economy. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's literally night and day. On the left, you've got the dormitory model. Empty streets, closed shops, total ghost town during the day. But on the right, you get the live-work model. You've got people living and working nearby. Suddenly, the streets are alive, the local lunch spots are hopping, the whole place is buzzing. And a huge part of this success boils down to what some people call the linger factor. Think about it. When you can just walk or bike to a cafe, you're not in a rush. You hang out, you stay longer, maybe you run into a neighbor, and you end up spending more money. In fact, pedestrians and cyclists can account for up to 2/3 of a cafe's revenue. That's what powers a healthy local economy. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. When we throw around this word density, our minds immediately jump to these giant, soul-crushing skyscrapers, right? A concrete jungle. But is that really what we're talking about here? No, not at all. The solution isn't about building a mini Manhattan in the suburbs. It's about something called gentle density. It's about adding what planners call missing middle housing, buildings that fit right into the scale and character of the neighborhoods we already love.
And here you go. This is a perfect example of what gentle density actually looks like. It's not scary, is it? It's inviting. We're talking about buildings that are human-scaled, with interesting shops on the ground floor, creating a street that feels active and full of character.
Here's another great one. See, these are the kinds of buildings that can make all the difference. Things like townhouses or small apartment buildings built around a courtyard. They add more homes, yes, but they do it without destroying the feel of a neighborhood. They add just enough people to keep that local bakery in business. And ultimately, good density is all about creating these kinds of pleasant, people-focused spaces. This isn't a dark, windy canyon between two skyscrapers. It's a charming little alleyway that connects places and makes you actually want to get out and walk around. So, let's say you do it. You get the design right, you hit that critical mass of 15 dwelling units per acre. What's the actual payoff? Well, it turns out it is absolutely huge, and you can measure it across pretty much every metric that matters.
I mean, the benefits here are just staggering. On the economic side, you start to drive real innovation, and you make it way easier for small entrepreneurs to get started. For the city, the tax base per acre skyrockets, and things like frequent public transit finally start to make financial sense. And maybe the biggest one of all, it's incredible for the environment. We're talking about cutting vehicle emissions by as much as 80%.
You saw that term agglomeration effects on the last slide. It sounds a little academic, I know, but the idea is actually super simple. It's just the magic that happens when you get a bunch of smart, creative people and different kinds of businesses all in one place. Proximity itself becomes an engine for new ideas and productivity. So when you put all this together, the simple math, the beautiful human-scaled design, the massive economic payoffs, it really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? It makes you look at your own town, your own Main Street, and ask, is this the blueprint our own cities have been missing all along?